Have you ever sat and tapped your pencil on the table or ended up surfing the internet instead of typing up the essay you were supposed to be working on? We all have, whether we're students, journalists, or novelists with deadlines. Why do we do this when we know we're just eating up the time we need to spend writing? Perhaps it's because writing can seem like such a big task. But consider this. What if you had a method to make writing seem less like a looming mountain and more like a few easy hills? Lucky for you, there is. The 6 Traits of Writing is a resource for both students and teachers. For students, these 6 areas break the task of writing into pieces so that you can focus on one part at a time. It also makes it easier for your teacher to provide a consistent grading method and for you to understand why your writing receives a certain score. 1. Content. This trait is also called ideas. It's the subject matter of your paper, all the details from your mind that go down on the paper or in the digital document. Your content should be focused so that all of your ideas make sense together. Some people call this having a theme. 2. Organization. Organization goes hand in hand with keeping your content focused. You want to make sure your readers understand what you're saying, and in order to accomplish successful communication, your words must be arranged in a logical order. You start with a hook that gives the reader a reason to care about your topic. Then you provide supporting details organized into paragraphs. Each paragraph should have some kind of transition so that the order makes sense. 3. Voice. Voice is perhaps the hardest of the traits to define. It is, in a nutshell, making your writing sound authentic and appropriate. You select a voice that's appropriate to your audience. So, in a homework assignment, this might mean using more formal language than you would when speaking with friends and family. But it's also allowing your personality to come out on the page. In rhetoric, this is akin to ethos, or establishing your credibility. One form of credibility is writing like you care about the topic. 4. Word choice. When you look at the word choice in your writing, you zoom in from the more global level of organization and voice. Instead, you look at individual words in order to present your content with the biggest impact you can. One example of this is using strong action verbs. Which is a stronger sentence? She put the book down angrily, or she slammed the book down onto the desk and huffed. The second sentence is stronger because it gives readers a better visualization of what actually happened. Note the verbs. The verb in the first sentence is put, and the verbs in the second sentence are slammed and huffed. 5. Sentence fluency. You always have multiple choices for how you word any sentence. However, if you follow the same patterns over and over again, your writing becomes tedious. Imagine a piece of writing where every sentence begins with the word I. Rather than lull your readers to sleep with that rhythm, stir things up by starting a sentence with a prepositional phrase or an adverb. For example, I ride my bike every weekend can be rearranged as every weekend I ride my bike, or usually I ride my bike on weekends. 6. Conventions. No, we're not talking about the fun kind of conventions where you dress up as Wonder Woman or the Incredible Hulk while you buy comic books and fried food. This means writing conventions, i.e., spelling, grammar, and punctuation. These are the rules that make it easier for each of us to pick up the same piece of writing and understand what it says. You can use the 6 traits of writing to evaluate your own writing prior to turning it in for a grade. This is a part of the revision and editing process, which is when you go over your essay to make the final draft better than your early draft. At this point, you can 1. Better focus your ideas by adding or removing content. 2. Rearrange the order of paragraphs or sentences in order to make your best argument. 3. Consider how your voice comes across on the page. 4. Zoom in on particular words and decide if you could use a better term for your purpose. 5. Read your essay out loud so you can find places where the sentence fluency needs work. And 6. After everything else is done, comb through the finished piece for any spelling, grammatical, or punctuation errors. The good thing about following the 6 traits is that your teacher is likely to use a similar method as a rubric to check your piece. That means you'll have already looked at all the same areas your teacher will be evaluating. Additionally, some instructors add one additional item, presentation, to the 6 traits, calling it 6+1 trait writing. Presentation is how the final work appears as a whole and includes font choice or neatness of writing, paragraph size, visual elements, and white space. Let's take a couple of moments to review the important information that we've learned. The 6 Traits of Writing is a resource for both students and teachers. For students, they break the task of writing into pieces so that you can focus on one part at a time. And for teachers, they provide a consistent grading method. The 6 traits are content, also known as finding ideas or the subject matter of your paper, all the details from your mind that go down on the paper or in the digital document. organization, voice, which helps you establish your ethos or establishing your credibility, word choice, sentence fluency, and conventions. Sometimes, when presentation is also included, the technique is then called 6+1 trait writing. The method helps students to know what to do during the revision and editing stages of writing, which is when you go over your essay to make the final draft better than your early draft. This process is often used by teachers as part of their evaluation rubric.